In the Gospel of John, chapter 15, Jesus gives his disciples a false promise. I want to talk about this today because many Christians proudly claim moral superiority over others based on this passage. They argue that their relationship with Jesus makes them morally better than everyone else, insisting that only those connected to Jesus can produce true moral goodness. So let's examine it carefully and see why it is a false promise. First of all, what is the exact promise Jesus gives to his disciples? Let me read John chapter 15 verses 4 to 5. Abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him bears much fruit, for apart from me you can do nothing. Jesus tells his disciples that by abiding in him, being attached to him, they will bear fruit. He also says that apart from him, they can do nothing. According to a plain reading of the text, those who are attached to Jesus will produce a kind of fruit that those who are not attached to him cannot produce. This is an exclusive promise for those who believe in Jesus. But what exactly are these fruits? Most Christians define these fruits using the qualities Paul lists in the book of Galatians, chapter 5, verses 22 to 23. Let me read those verses from the Bible. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Many Christians argue that if you are truly attached to Jesus, these 9 qualities will naturally appear in your life. On the screen, you will see snapshots from Christian commentaries and sermons, linking the fruit in John 15 to the spiritual fruits in Galatians chapter 5, 22 to 23. Christians also frequently quote Matthew 7, where Jesus says that people will be known by their fruits, referring to their moral character. So, in this discussion, let's accept those popular interpretations and test the promise using their own standard. If only those who are attached to Christ can produce these fruit, then those qualities should be uniquely identifiable among Christians. But when we compare that claim with real human behavior, including Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, and even atheists, the promise begins to collapse. Because non-Christians clearly display these fruits. Atheists show love and compassion. Buddhists emphasize peace and self-control. Hindus practice generosity and patience. Muslims demonstrate community care, endurance in hardship, and devotion to family life. Secular volunteers run charities and disaster relief efforts. Non-religious parents sacrifice deeply for their children. These qualities clearly exist outside Christianity. So it is pretentious for Christians to claim moral superiority over others or to argue that faith in Jesus makes them ethically better. Once we present this argument that these qualities exist everywhere, even outside Christianity, the original claim becomes difficult to defend. When the moral character argument begins to fail, many Christians change the definition of fruit. They redefine the meaning of fruit in John 15. They say fruit refers to invisible spiritual results, ministry success, conversions, church growth, or preaching impact. But this creates a deeper problem. If Christians abandon the moral character definition they themselves imported from Galatians 5, they are also admitting something important. The qualities listed in Galatians 5 are not unique to Christians. Love, kindness, patience, and self-control are clearly visible across all religions and even among non-believers. So it is dubious to claim that being attached to Christ makes someone a better person than others. Either these fruits are universal human qualities, which means Galatians 5 does not describe anything uniquely produced by Christians, or the promise in John 15 fails to produce anything clearly identifiable in the real world. In either case, both Galatians chapter 5 verses 22 to 23 and John 15 verses 4 to 5 fail as real world promises. If the fruits in John 15 refer to moral character, they are obviously not unique to Christians. But if they are redefined as something else, then Galatians chapter 5 verses 22 to 23 no longer represents anything uniquely produced by Christians. What does all of this mean? It means Christianity is not a divinely unique system producing superior moral results, but a human religion shaped by people who wanted to present it as morally superior and spiritually exclusive. The promises sound powerful, but when tested against real human experience, they fail to produce anything uniquely identifiable. This is typically how human religious systems protect their authority, and Christianity is just one of them.